no longer mine.
Hey guys, so tonight we're gonna do a pillow talk. If you guys follow me on Instagram, then you guys know that I sent out a story asking all of my followers to ask me any questions that they had for men, women, boy, girl, relationships, sex, or even just life questions. So you guys actually sent me some really great questions that I'm so excited to answer for you guys. And before we get into this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, also hit that notification button never to miss the latest update, and let's get into these juicy questions. I had to put my hair up, so excuse me. All right, let's get into these questions. So I'm gonna go in order, and I'm not going to give names. This is gonna stay anonymous. So let's see. The first one is, you need to give men some foreplay tips. This is a really good one. Okay, so I do think that a lot of guys don't, or assume that they don't need to do foreplay before you even put it in. And the truth is, guys, that you do need to do that. Because just like how it takes that for you to get hard, it's the same thing for women. Please do not think that you can just go in on it and get it in, because if she isn't wet, then it's not gonna work. You guys need to foreplay. Foreplay is super important. Do not think that you can just get pleased for yourself and not have to please the other person before even going into actually doing it. You guys need to do foreplay. If not, the chances of her being wet are slim to none. Tips for men and foreplay. I'm a huge fan of going down on women. I mean, not me going down on women, but like, you guys all know what I'm talking about. I think that that is super important. If guys want that done to them, then they need to be able to do it to women as well. Just play with her. I mean, God, it's not that hard to figure it out. Just don't be that guy. Don't be the guy who thinks that just making out for like a couple of minutes is gonna get her wet and then you can just stick it in. Oh my God, that is a huge no-no, and the chances of you ever getting in her pants again are probably never gonna happen. So yeah, I mean, God, put us in the mood before you want to stick it in. It's as simple as that. So we are gonna get into the next question. Dating after having a kid is difficult. How do you make time? So if I'm gonna honestly answer this question, when it comes to having a kid and having to make time to date, I do think that dating somebody who is very understanding is key. You need to date somebody who's gonna understand that you will be busy with your child, that they need to understand that not all of your time and attention is going to go just towards them. So my advice for this is to just date somebody who is understanding, because our kids do come first, and that's the truth. So you have to just date somebody who is very understanding that you are a father, a mother, and that your kids do come first. So the next question is, when people are too vanilla and sex life is boring. Okay, so for this question, I'd say you have to look at it, if you're just dating somebody just to date them, then maybe call it quits. Like if it's just like a fun time, I would probably stop. But if it's a long-term relationship and somebody that you see yourself with for a long time, then I would say communication, because you guys are going to have to talk it out eventually. It's not okay to have one person not pleased and the other person pleased. And definitely if your sex life is boring, I hate to say it, but sex is very important in a relationship. I'm not saying it's everything, but it's definitely on the top 3. So you need to have a healthy sex life, a good sex life, to keep that bond with the person you're with. And I hate to say it, but a lot of people who are with long-term partners, they do end up cheating, you know, because they don't end up having the conversation with the person that they're with. So what I have to say is to have the conversation if you do see yourself being with this person long term, because sex is very important in a relationship. And if not, if it's just a fun time, one time thing, or somebody you're just dating for the time being, then maybe just end it, because vanilla sex is not worth it. Oh no. No. So the next one is, my other half and I like to watch porn together all the time. Do you think this is healthy? Okay. This is a good one, because I think that there are a lot of couples out there who like to act, or have one partner who likes to act like watching porn is not okay. And you guys are all lying. If you have never wanted to watch porn, or that you guys don't watch porn, because we all do. And this is just the truth. So do I think it's healthy? Yeah. I mean, to have an open relationship like that, where you and your other half are comfortable with even talking about those kinds of things and letting each other do it and sharing it together, I definitely think that watching porn together is healthy. Let's see, next question. Okay, what do you find attractive in men? So, you guys are gonna think this is really weird, but if I see a guy, literally the first thing that I look at is shoes. You can tell a lot by shoes, or by just feet too, but I definitely, first impression, I judge off of shoes. So if you're wearing a pair of shoes that I like, or wearing a nice clean pair of shoes, then that is probably the first thing. And it sounds weird, but that's normally what I go off of. The next thing is, well, you have to also look at this question like, are you talking personality or looks? If we're gonna talk looks, then first thing I look at is shoes. You have to have a nice smile, a nice face. I'm more so a face person than a body person. Body to me is like a bonus. But if we're gonna talk personality or traits and characteristics, I would say you have to be funny, definitely funny, and please be honest, loyal. And very attentive. I definitely think that when a guy is very attentive with the person that they're with, or the girl that they're with, that it's a very attractive trait, because there are guys out there who are not attentive, who don't pay that much attention to their significant other. And when you go out into large gatherings or parties, it definitely shows. So having a guy who is very attentive to their partner is definitely a very attractive trait. I don't mind sharing my husband with other girls. Do you think I'm crazy? Okay, if you were to ask me this question a couple of years ago, I would say, what the hell are you thinking?
Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Are you? Are you fucking crazy?
But a lot has changed over the years, and I'm noticing that open relationships are actually becoming very normal, and it has actually opened my eyes to not even judge. I don't judge people who are like that. I don't judge people who do have open relationships, because everybody is different. And so if that works for you guys, then it works for you. If it makes you and your husband happy and it's not ruining your relationship, then what's wrong with it? So do I think you're crazy? I definitely don't, because if it's working for you and your relationship, then there's really nothing wrong with it. I'm in love with my friend. How do I go about it without ruining things? So for this one, oh gosh, when it comes to friends, that's a really hard topic. I feel like you could do one or the other. You either just keep it as friends. And if I'm going to be completely honest, I'd say keep it as friends. If that other person is not showing any interest, then I would say keep it as a friendship, because if you try to delve into something else and have a relationship with them, and say they're not even showing any interest in you, then you could ruin the friendship. So I would say save the friendship.
Take that guy, for example. You mean that couple? No. I know. I mean the guy that wishes they were a couple.
It just all depends if they're showing interest, they're flirting back, or if they don't show any interest at all. So it kind of depends off of that. But when it comes to friendships, I do know that you could potentially ruin a friendship by trying to go into doing other things other than being friends. So let's get into the next one. The next question is, I'm unhappy in my relationship, but I have kids and don't want to hurt my family. What do I do? Okay, so this is actually a really good one. And to me, if you're unhappy in your relationship, the best thing for both people and the kids is to separate. And I'm not saying do it in a dirty way or do it in a way where it's going to hurt everybody. Everybody's going to get hurt in the end. But to do it in a civil way where you talk to the person that you're with and you tell them you're unhappy first. Maybe you guys can work it out. Maybe something can change. But if it's been a long-term relationship and you guys still have problems after years and years of trying, then maybe it's best to separate. And I know a lot of people do make it work out for the kids, but I actually take psychology, and I've learned in many of my courses and classes that there are actually many studies done when they interview the children, and a lot of kids who stay in households or families where their parents had wanted to break up but stayed together for the kids, they showed that they were unhappy. And when the kids got older and they got interviewed, the kids ended up saying that they had wished that their parents had broken up when they were younger. And so that was an eye-opener, because it actually shows you that your kids can sense and do know when you are unhappy. So if you're unhappy, don't stay for the kids. I do think that you should try and make it work for a while. And if it's still not working, then maybe reconsider and sit your partner down, and maybe you guys can either work it out or decide that it's best if you guys split. But what I do know is that kids are always going to want their parents together. You know, no kid wants their parents to get divorced, but times are different. People do grow apart, and I think that's something that people need to understand, is that growing apart is normal. There's nothing wrong with it, and that when you do grow apart, and if you guys do choose to separate and make it a healthy split, that it's fine. You know, your kids may want you guys together, but when they get older, they'll understand why it happened the way it happened. And a lot of times people do get along better when they co-parent. So what I have to say about this is that if you are unhappy and it's been a long time, then maybe sit your partner down and maybe discuss trying to make it work or separating, and that there is nothing wrong if you guys decide to separate. People do grow apart and it is normal. So the next one is, why do boys and girls speak empty words? What happened to speaking the truth regardless of feelings? Wow. So when it comes to this question, I think we're in a world and a time where everybody really does speak empty words. And it is sad. It's so sad that it's hard to find genuine people in this world. It's hard to find people who actually mean what they say. But when it comes to speaking the truth in regards to feelings, I do think it's hard to tell somebody the truth when you're scared to hurt their feelings. And this is normal. Everybody does it. But I do think that people, especially if you're really, really going to hurt somebody's feelings, it's always best to tell the truth. The truth always comes out. It doesn't matter how long it's been. It doesn't matter how you try to hide it. The truth eventually comes out. So for people to sit there and lie and continue to lie and think that they are helping that person out by not hurting their feelings, it's definitely not right. I know from experience that by lying and trying to protect somebody's feelings, you end up hurting them even more. So it is sad that we're in a time where people do think that lying is going to make the situation better, because in the end, the truth does come out and you're not helping anybody. You're only hurting that person even more. So I don't know about advice on this, but just talking about it and having a discussion about it it's true that, you know, we just live in a time where people don't know how to be honest. it's hard to find genuine people in this world. So when you do, hold them close, hold them tight, because when you find some solid people in life, it's very, especially now, it's very, very rare. So that wraps up tonight's pillow talk. I definitely am going to be making more of these videos. I really enjoyed answering your guys' questions, and I'm so thankful and grateful that you guys asked some really good ones. So before we end this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Also, hit that notification button never to miss a latest update on my video, and I will see you guys in my next video. Good night, guys.